Afternoon, everyone. This is Brad Matheny. I just got back from running a couple of appointments, seeing my primary care doctor. He says, I'm good. I'm not going to die tomorrow. So that's always good when you hear that from the doctor. My doctor's a pretty funny guy. Anyway, long and short of it is this is a quick little update about the markets right now. Let me come over here and get rid of this line. Markets are very flat. I talked about this in the early morning about how NVIDIA's earnings at the end of the day. Everybody's kind of waiting for NVIDIA right now. I think we're kind of just flattening out here. I do believe that NVIDIA's earnings are going to be strong. Sales are going to be strong. Why? Because tariffs. I don't know if you were aware of this, but the tariff news sent kind of a shockwave through the PC industry about a month ago, and I'm sure that carried into other industries as well. And the news was basically that the tariffs were going to send prices potentially skyrocketing for video cards and other things, imports primarily from overseas, Asia, China, Taiwan. So there was a bit of a buying spree in late April and through most of May, I'm assuming, which prompted a decent amount of sales for NVIDIA. Even though forward guidance may be a bit weaker, I think what we're looking at here is kind of a roll. If I can come over here to an hourly chart and show you, here's where we're at hourly. You can see this rolling topping pattern on the SPY. And what I would suggest is going to happen is that we are going to see some sort of a move up into this 570, 590 area. Sorry, 597 to 600. Correct me, not 570, 597 to 600 area on earnings, okay, on NVIDIA earnings. It's going to be one company potentially driving a huge move to the upside. Then heads up, guys. Then I believe we're going to move into more realization and retest this 575 area again. So it's going to be a big roll. But I think what's going to happen is you're going to see it shoot up, potentially carry over into tomorrow a bit. And then we're going to see it potentially roll back down into that June, July summer doldrums. So we'll see how it plays out. Gold and silver trying to base bottom. Remember, I highlighted this flagging formation in gold. Gold really kind of needs to, if you look at this pattern, you can see the big expansion wave here. So we've got the move up, coming back down, and I can carry this channel down here, saying that, hey, we've moved into this flagging. Now, this big, broad green flag may actually be more along the lines of a sideways flag in here. So we'll carry this out as a potential sideways flag here. And that sets up kind of a mode here for gold, meaning that we got to get into Thursday, Friday. Looks like maybe early Friday, we could be looking at a move here in gold, potentially moving quite a bit higher. Again, the move here kind of is an A, B, C, D, hitting the lows here, 3280, 3260, and then potentially blasting off to the upside. Okay. Still, we have this big apexing pattern out here, which could be even bigger. That's this move up to here. Could be even bigger overall. So again, we're looking at a basing, consolidating, kind of an apexing pattern. And look, silver's doing pretty much the same thing. So silver, let's move this out of the way and this out of the way. Spread this out a little. And silver's moving up into a different type of a flag, it looks like. Coming kind of up across here. Down across here. This is 1 hour chart. You see we hit this apexing, blasted up, moving into secondary flagging here. We definitely have support running right down here at 33. Like to see that. But again, the rotation of this trend, you can call it basically like this: A, B, C, D, and now a breakout. So what that would mean is that in order to get gold and silver to move higher, there's got to be, some demand for gold and silver, which is the dollar potentially weakening or technology potentially weakening. And I think that's going to come, like I told you, after we get the NVDA earnings. I think the NVIDIA earnings are going to really play into strength initially and then migrate into weakness, particularly with regards to the tariffs on overseas chip production and imports. Okay, lastly, quick little update on Bitcoin. Wow, I mean, pretty good move today. Nothing huge, down $1,200, moderate volume. Again, I think everybody's kind of waiting on this Nvidia move. Remember, I just said that we would originally, with my discussion about Bitcoin, I suggested we would need a couple of weeks to potentially see this thing play out. So, we were talking back over here before we had this big rally, and I think we could come up a little higher, 113, 115, and then roll back down below this 103 level. This 103 level, let me get rid of this funky green line, try to make it heavy. This 103 level, pretty much right there. That line to me is the last line of defense for Bitcoin. I see that low rejection right across this area. And if we're going to break down, we're kind of at that low standard deviation channel now. But if we're going to break down, I'm not going to start to get too concerned until we get below this 103 level. To me, that 103 level really is the defense level, the call it battle line. So where we're at, rolling up in this area, rolling down to 105 or 104, yeah, it's a pullback. It's, but until we get below that 103 level, in my opinion, this is just rotation. Nice to see this consolidating trend, though. Very much weaker than where we were week and a half ago, rallying up to 110, 111, 112. Now we're kind of like, and I would urge you, honestly, that come over here. Getting below this low here, this 106,700, that would be Fibonacci breakdown. So that would be a Fibonacci price theory breakdown of a standout low on a daily chart. And that would be very ominous to the downside. So if that were to happen, you'd be looking at a pretty solid breakdown mode. They could turn into an aggressive move back to the downside. So right now, 106,700 is Fibonacci support. Breakdown below that level, meaning a close below that level, would be structurally much weaker. And then the 103 level is really our defense line. That's where I think we're going to see, if we get that breakdown I predicted, that's where I think we're going to see it start, is this 103 level, and then it's going to take off downward. Okay, so I'm going to get back at it, check my email. Be prepared for a little roll. I think we could see the markets really, kind of open, the SPY open in that 596, 597 area up here tomorrow, and then just really kind of play down back into this consolidation channel. So understand that we could have a very interesting move, a gap up potentially tomorrow. Let me check tomorrow's a Harami inside day. Interesting. Well, we'll see how it plays out then. Maybe if the pattern is correct, maybe NVIDIA doesn't do much of anything. But if I'm right and we do get some sort of a rally phase out of this, then I think we could be opening up in this 597 to 599 area, slightly higher, and then play a bit of a downward trend here, looking at rotation. So, you know, who knows? I'm telling you what I think might happen, but really, you know, you can say it's a guess. I'm guessing at what I think is going to happen. So we'll see. Sometimes I'm better at my guesses than others. Still melting upward, like I talked about, rolling into that end of May timeline. So this is really the timeline, that June 2nd, 3rd, 4th, this kind of area. This is the timeline where I think we're going to set up a top or potential top. So we shall see. Okay, guys, that's it for now. I'll talk to you later.